Hi, continuing my series on creative techniques within Ableton Live on how to build instruments and effects racks. Today we're going to look at how to build a filter bank within Ableton Live using a combination of filters to achieve some quite special effects. Have a listen to what's going on in the background. I've got some pads and some drums you can listen to get an idea of what's possible. Then we'll look at how it's constructed, how it works, and how you can build it yourself. Okay, let's have a look then what's actually going on. I think we better start here with the main output. The first thing you're going to need is a limiter here. I have a limiter on the output because some of the frequencies can get quite violent. So please put a limiter on your main channel here. But let's have a look at the filter bank itself. It's actually quite a simple thing. It's really the settings that give it its functionality. We have a series of macros here to control filter frequency, filter resonance, etc. We can modulate the frequency of the filter cutoff point, the depth. We can have extremely fast LFOs if we want. We put this on here. If we don't want to operate our LFO in Hertz, which we have here, we can activate the sync here. And then we have, if I open up the LFO here, then we have the sync rate here in musical divisions. We can also alter the shape of our oscillation. We can have random, etc. So we have an LFO controlling the filter frequencies of these filters here. We have 6 filters which are running in series. Let me just turn this off for a second. We have 6 filters, all auto filters, all available here in the audio effects auto filter here. So we have 6 of them in series, but what I've done with the mapping is I've given each filter a different range and a different type actually. So here we have a high pass filter on filter 1. On filter 2 we have a notch. Filter 3 we have another notch filter. Filter 4 again a notch. 5 another notch. So we have these 4 notch filters moving. If you look here at the frequency, 1000 here, 2000 here, 4000 here, 8000, and if I was to modulate them or move the frequency here, let's close this one, you will see that they are limited. This one goes up to 16 kilohertz, this one's 17. So they have their own range, which is all laid out in the mapping here. We'll come to this in a second. So each filter effectively allows part of the signal to pass. This is allowed to pass here, this area, but this is cut out. And so we have these four, they move together and can be oscillated by the LFO here. The first filter, we'll close these up, it might be easier to explain. So we have 4 notch filters, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on either end we have high pass and a low pass filter, which if they also have a range, a very limited range. The high pass moves up to 1 kilohertz and this one moves from about 20 kilohertz down to 16. So they have small ranges. These aren't being modulated by the LFO. They're fixed. Once they're in a position, they're fixed. They won't be modulated. The only thing it's modulating, or the LFO is modulating, are these 4 notch filters. So they move together. I'll just show you 2. Now, try and imagine this is 4. As you move your frequency, they're moving and cutting off certain parts of the frequency, but they're moving over different ranges. So this one might cut off this bit, this one cuts off another bit. So they let some parts through and they're never lined up. So always parts of the signal can come past. I hope that's understandable. That's basically what we have here. 4 notch filters that can be modulated. And as I say, on either end of the signal, at the input to the signal we have a high pass, and at the output we have a low pass. Notch in the middle, oscillating. That's how it works. The end here we have a utility which just allows us to control the volume, and we have the LFO to control the modulation of these 4 notch filters in the center. So let's see if we can see that in action. Actually, we'll close these. Don't know if, can't remember if it actually shows you that. We'll get this playing again. Actually, we don't need, we can see here. Does it actually show the animation? I'm not sure, I can't remember. No, it doesn't show you the animation. Oh, that's a pity. Okay, so no, you don't see the animation, but effectively they're doing this together, all 4 of them. Okay, and that's it. Very simple. In the macros here, we have the possibility to turn on and off these filters. Set them to 0, filter goes off. Set this one to 0, filter goes off. So we can turn filters on and off. So different combinations of filtering are possible, and with the LFO, as I say, you can introduce your modulation. Let's just have a look then quickly at the settings. I'll create a screenshot of all of these settings at the end, and I'll go into more depth when we do the build of this. Effectively, as I say, I've taken these 6 filters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and limited their range. So filter 1, for the frequency of filter 1, close this here. This here, the frequency of filter 1 only has a range up to 1 kilohertz, 26 to 1. Second notch filter, or the first notch filter, sorry, has a range of 1 to 16 kilohertz, and then the third 2 to 17, 4 to 18, 8 to 19. So they always move over different areas of the frequency and allow you to cut or edit parts of the sound at will. Finally, the low pass at the end has a range from 16 to 19. These ones just turn on and off the filter. We have filter drive on the first 2 filters here because I'm using the MS2 filter, so that has drive. The notch doesn't have a drive, so it allows me to drive both at 1 and 6 here. Both have drive here, so we can turn it off. You'll see we can control this as well in both. The volume, as I say, is utility, and that's really it. You can control the resonance here. These are all controllable via the macros, and the frequencies are controllable here, the ranges. Okay, then let's have a look how it's put together. So as always, I've kept the original effects rack here, which you can find in audio effect rack, and you can drag in. But I've kept this one as always because I have all the names. I don't have to redo them in the video. Right, so the first thing we want to do then on our main, as I say, is put a limiter on there. Let's put that in because you really have to watch your levels here. Then we need to go to the Autofilter. We'll drag one of those in, and we can do Command D on Mac and Control D on, and we can duplicate this until we get 6 of them. So we have 6 filters in there. Then we also need one LFO from our audio effects here. Put that in front of the filter here, and finally we have the utility at the very end so that we can control the volume. Let's do the utility first because that's very easy. Close these up. Right, so we'll just map that. The utility is simply the gain here. We map that here, and the max I set to 0. So we can simply take volume away. That's done then. Let's have a look at our auto filters. We'll do the first one. Get this one set up. This one I had as high pass filter. And this is 12 decibel and the MS2 filter. Come to set this up in a second. Now we'll do the second filter. Actually, it's a good idea to rename these so you can know where you are. 2. And this one we have set up as a notch. Then filter 3, actually we can, it might be quicker to, oh no, it won't take too long, we'll just do it quickly. I'd say it might be quicker just to have duplicated the notches, but let's just go. Four, rename, this is also a notch filter, number 4. Right, so we get all our filters named, notch as well. And number 6 is MS2 12 decibel low pass filter. Okay, so they're all set up. We can now do our settings for these filters. So we will actually, maybe perhaps we'll do the LFO first, get that set up as well. We'll map the LFO here. First one we're going to map to the frequency of filter 1, and we need to open this little box here. Close that. 2. Let's open these all up. Six. So we done filter 1, so let's do filter 2. Map the frequency here. Close that. filter 3, frequency 4, 5, and that's it. We don't map the low pass and the high pass filters. Okay, so they're all mapped. Now we can set our macros up here. This, I believe, is complete. Yep, that's fine. So first of all, map this LFO, the rate of the LFO here in hertz. We'll do it first, and then the shape here, the depth here, and we have a little button here, times 10. We can click on here, map that as well, and then we have to come out of here, I believe, and map this one here, the sync. Okay, let's just check that works. So we can switch between here now, between musical intervals and hertz. That works. And we have the LFO sync. Here we go. This one we have to do. Always a bit confusing, these. So the LFO sync rate we now need to map. So we need to be in sync on. Yes. And let's map the sync rate here, which is this value here. Map that. So we have to map it twice. We have to map it once for the hertz and once for the musical intervals. Okay, so that means we now have here on the sync rate we can see musical divisions, and if we turn this off, then on the hertz we can see hertz values here. LFO shape should work as well. There we go. Okay, so that's all set up. The LFO is set up. We need to now map each of the filter frequencies to our macro here. So we have to open these up again. Do this. Start with the first one. Map this frequency here. Close that. Oh, we can map the resonance as well while we're here. Frequency, resonance, get these done quickly. All the frequencies are mapped to the same macros, and all the resonances are mapped to the resonance macro. Okay, so that's done. Now it's just really the settings. And let's have a look firstly at Autofilter 1. I found if you have the resonance too high on this, then you actually get a tone when you turn off the music or whatever you're playing. You'll still get a tone from the frequency. So I've set this one down here. Let's have a look. Frequency filter 1. I have this at 95% on the MS2 filter, and the same for filter number 6 here, which we haven't named. We'll rename that filter 6. So this is also 12 dB MS2, and the resonance here we want to have, that's 95, filter 1, auto filter 1 here, so resonance filter 1 here, so sorry, filter 1 there, 95. So 1 and 6, they have a maximum resonance of 95, so they're done. Then we have the frequency range for filters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one here only went up to 1 kilohertz, 1000. And this went from 2000 up here to, let's work this backwards. This one went down to 16,000 is where it's backwards in my head. This one was then 19,000, 18,000. As I say, I'll put a screenshot up and you can save yourself the tedium of looking at this. Just have a look at the, and then filter 2 was 16,000. And on the up, that was quite easy because it's just doubled, 4,000, 6,000, and 8,000. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 9, yes, I think that's correct. I say check the values at the end to make sure I haven't made a mistake here, but I think they should be correct. What else do we have to map here? Then we have the filter on off. That's quite easy. We can close these actually for that. So we just click this button here, map that to number 1, filter 2 here, map 3, map, etc. 4 and 6. Okay, quick rewind. I just realized after making the video I forgot to link the filter drive here, so we'll do that quickly. That is on filter 1 and filter 6 here. So we have the drive for the MS2 filter, so we'll map those quickly. And this one here, and they had a value of a maximum of 6 decibel each, 6 dB. And also I realized a mistake here, this should have been 1,000, not 2,000. Apart from that, everything's okay. Okay, back to the video. I think that's everything set up, so that's pretty much it. Let's see if we actually get a noise. See if the macros still work. You see here some of the filters are not activated on this. Turn them on and off. Okay, that's it. As I say, have a go yourselves. It's useful. I've had a lot of fun making it, a lot of fun using it. I hope it's been helpful to you as well. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Take care.